Thank you for joining Blue Hornet and Movable Ink as we discuss the evolution of email, real-time segmentation, and contextual marketing. I'm Emily Strasberg, Email Marketing Manager at Blue Hornet. Just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items before we get started with today's presentation. First, please submit any questions you have during our presentation using the chat window, and we'll be answering all questions at the end of the webinar. In addition, we are recording the webinar, and we will send out the recording and slide presentation for you to download in the next couple of days. With that, I'd like to introduce our speakers today. First, we have Lalit Chopra, Director of Strategic Partnerships at Movable Ink. Next, Kat Johnson, Marketing Manager at Allen Edmonds. And lastly, Mallory Molitori, Account Manager here at Blue Hornet. With that, Lalit, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Emily. I'm excited to be joined today by Kat and Mallory to look at some great use cases enabled by contextual marketing. First, I'd like to talk about segmentation and ultimately why context matters within email. We all know that the more targeted an email, the better the results. The stats on this slide are from a study recently conducted by eMarketer, showing that among email marketers who segment their lists, 39% see higher open rates and 24% see higher revenue. That's great, but these stats have been declining throughout the industry for years. If we take a look at the fields email marketers usually use to segment their lists, we can see that these fields are typically static. Information such as demographic data, geographic data, click-throughs, transaction activity, and other behaviors are all captured and used before send. But when you send emails to lists that are based on past data, you're not really targeting according to the customer's real-time context. And with over 60% of email opens occurring on mobile devices, that one word, context, has really become more important than ever. Our customers are always on the go, and their context is constantly changing. You can never assume that your customers are at their computers when they're interacting with your brand, getting your emails, looking for stores, or ultimately making a purchase. That's why real-time segmentation and contextual marketing is so important today. If it's snowing outside, you don't want to send an email to customers in the affected area with an offer for t-shirts. If customers are on an iPhone, you don't want to showcase an Android-only app in your email. You want to make sure that you're sending relevant, engaging offers and content to really make sure that the customer is receiving value. That's how retailers can build relationships and loyalty with customers today. Rather than broadcasting your message to the widest possible audience, you have to instead think about every individual's context and treat each touch point you have with a customer as a true interaction. Until then, irrelevant marketing is going to cause massive trust issues amongst our customers. So how do we get to the point where we can treat each email open as a true interaction? For years now, marketing has evolved from untargeted ads that take months to make to messages that can really change in real time. Marketing started with mass direct mail campaigns in this overall evolutionary scale, when marketers really sent out catalogs, newsletters, and other messages to reach as many people as humanly possible. The earliest iterations of digital marketing really followed that same trend and focused more on a cheaper delivery mechanism. In the 90s, banner ads and emails weren't targeted. They were really just trying to do what broadcast TV and newspapers and direct mail had really been doing for a long time, getting as many impressions as possible. If you think about a standard commercial on TV, it really follows that one size fits most trend. It's just about the opposite of contextual marketing in every way. TV ads take a lot of work to deliver to the masses, and usually these ads are not related to what people are actually watching. They take customers out of context, and consequently, a lot of customers tune out TV ads. How many times do you just sit there and fast forward through the commercials on your DVR to get back to the program that you were trying to watch? The same thing happens with email marketing segmentation today. While many marketers work hard to segment, you can only do so much when your customers are constantly changing their behavior, their physical location is always on the move. There's always a risk of sending a very irrelevant message too. So the example that's here is more of an extreme example where Borders accidentally sent a deal about a single store in San Antonio to the store's entire customer base. It's an extreme example, but it happens all the time. Customers are no longer on a flat funnel path. They're constantly on the move, physically and with their own behavior. And if you don't know a customer's current real-time context, your segmentation is based mostly on guesswork and data from yesterday and may not indicate what's important to that customer when they're engaging with your message. And that's where engagement ultimately declines. Customers have trusted brands by giving away their email addresses, but too many irrelevant marketing messages, really all of the time, have left people jaded. In short, marketing is based on trust, but that trust is broken today. The mass media, mass audience approach to marketing just doesn't work anymore. Digital marketers have it especially tough. Stats show that 55% of visitors spend fewer than 15 seconds on your website. That's about enough to scroll up, scroll down, and then decide to read about the best April Fool's Day pranks instead. You've heard of banner blindness, with really more than more customers clicking on less than 0.1% of the 1,700 ads they see a month. That's what's typically referred to as banner blindness. Customers also have email blindness as well. That's because viewers or users really view email as an interruption and not something that's adding value to their everyday life. What really needs to happen is that we need to take a step back and look at the landscape today. The digital landscape is full of billboards, and people have really learned to drive by them without giving them a second glance. If some of these challenges sound familiar, it's really because they've become the core tenets of one of the other biggest marketing trends today, content marketing. In 2015, content marketing is seen as above and beyond the most useful thing for investment. Why? It's because by creating useful and engaging content, brands build
Hello, and thank you for joining Blue Hornet and Movable Ink as we discuss the evolution of email, real-time segmentation, and contextual marketing. I'm Emily Strasberg, Email Marketing Manager at Blue Hornet. Just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items before we get started with today's presentation. First, please submit any questions you have during our presentation using the chat window, and we'll be answering all questions at the end of the webinar. In addition, we are recording the webinar, and we will send out the recording and slide presentation for you to download in the next couple of days. With that, I'd like to introduce our speakers today. First, we have Lalit Chopra, Director of Strategic Partnerships at Movable Ink. Next, Kat Johnson, Marketing Manager at Allen Edmonds. And lastly, Mallory Molitori, Account Manager here at Blue Hornet. With that, Lalit, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Emily. I'm excited to be joined today by Kat and Mallory to look at some great use cases enabled by contextual marketing. First, I'd like to talk about segmentation and ultimately why context matters within email. We all know that the more targeted an email, the better the results. The stats on this slide are from a study recently conducted by eMarketer, showing that among email marketers who segment their lists, 39% see higher open rates and 24% see higher revenue. That's great, but these stats have been declining throughout the industry for years. If we take a look at the fields email marketers usually use to segment their lists, we can see that these fields are typically static. Information such as demographic data, geographic data, click-throughs, transaction activity, and other behaviors are all captured and used before send. But when you send emails to lists that are based on past data, you're not really targeting according to the customer's real-time context. And with over 60% of email opens occurring on mobile devices, that one word, context, has really become more important than ever. Our customers are always on the go, and their context is constantly changing. You can never assume that your customers are at their computers when they're interacting with your brand, getting your emails, looking for stores, or ultimately making a purchase. That's why real-time segmentation and contextual marketing is so important today. If it's snowing outside, you don't want to send an email to customers in the affected area with an offer for t-shirts. If customers are on an iPhone, you don't want to showcase an Android-only app in your email. You want to make sure that you're sending relevant, engaging offers and content to really make sure that the customer is receiving value. That's how retailers can build relationships and loyalty with customers today. Rather than broadcasting your message to the widest possible audience, you have to instead think about every individual's context and treat each touch point you have with a customer as a true interaction. Until then, irrelevant marketing is going to cause massive trust issues amongst our customers. So how do we get to the point where we can treat each email open as a true interaction? For years now, marketing has evolved from untargeted ads that take months to make to messages that can really change in real time. Marketing started with mass direct mail campaigns in this overall evolutionary scale, when marketers really sent out catalogs, newsletters, and other messages to reach as many people as humanly possible. The earliest iterations of digital marketing really followed that same trend and focused more on a cheaper delivery mechanism. In the 90s, banner ads and emails weren't targeted. They were really just trying to do what broadcast TV and newspapers and direct mail had really been doing for a long time, getting as many impressions as possible. If you think about a standard commercial on TV, it really follows that one size fits most trend. It's just about the opposite of contextual marketing in every way. TV ads take a lot of work to deliver to the masses, and usually these ads are not related to what people are actually watching. They take customers out of context, and consequently, a lot of customers tune out TV ads. How many times do you just sit there and fast forward through the commercials on your DVR to get back to the program that you were trying to watch? The same thing happens with email marketing segmentation today. While many marketers work hard to segment, you can only do so much when your customers are constantly changing their behavior, their physical location is always on the move. There's always a risk of sending a very irrelevant message too. So the example that's here is more of an extreme example where Borders accidentally sent a deal about a single store in San Antonio to the store's entire customer base. It's an extreme example, but it happens all the time. Customers are no longer on a flat funnel path. They're constantly on the move, physically and with their own behavior, and if you don't know a customer's current real-time context, your segmentation is based mostly on guesswork and data from yesterday and may not indicate what's important to that customer when they're engaging with your message. And that's where engagement ultimately declines. Customers have trusted brands by giving away their email addresses, but too many irrelevant marketing messages, really all of the time, have left people jaded. In short, marketing is based on trust, but that trust is broken today. The mass media, mass audience approach to marketing just doesn't work anymore. Digital marketers have it especially tough. Stats show that 55% of visitors spend fewer than 15 seconds on your website. That's about enough to scroll up, scroll down, and then decide to read about the best April Fool's Day pranks instead. You've heard of banner blindness, with really more customers clicking on less than 0.1% of the 1,700 ads they see a month. That's what's typically referred to as banner blindness. Customers also have email blindness as well. That's because viewers or users really view email as an interruption and not something that's adding value to their everyday life. What really needs to happen is that we need to take a step back and look at the landscape today. The digital landscape is full of billboards, and people have really learned to drive by them without giving them a second glance. If some of these challenges sound familiar, it's really because they've become the core tenets of one of the other biggest marketing trends today, content marketing. In 2015, content marketing is seen as above and beyond the most useful thing for investment. Why? It's because by creating useful and engaging content, brands build recognition and boost sales, all without directly marketing the product. Customers trust content that's entertaining and useful, but how can you make sure that your content is always useful and relevant to customers who are constantly on the move and changing their behavior? It's really talking about that last step of the evolutionary scale. It's all about context. If content is king, then context is the chessboard that ties everything together. In order to make your marketing content stand out, you need to make sure it's positioned within the right context based upon channel, recipient's location, the time of day, the device being used, and what the customer has done that day right before they're engaging with your message. This means that personalizing content in real time for every customer, no matter when or how they engage with you. Forrester's had a lot of activity around contextual marketing recently. They're striving towards driving brands to build what they call a contextual marketing engine, something that really leverages real-time analytics and insights to make decisions in real time to personalize and automate the customer experience. Contextual marketing isn't really just another buzzword or tactic. It's more of a philosophy. Building a contextual marketing engine means thinking differently about marketing and making it really about customer experience. If you do this right, your emails become useful and relevant, and the sales will ultimately be inbound. So how do you start building that contextual marketing engine? It starts with segmentation at the moment of open. If you can't segment in real time, you can't match the email message to a customer's current context. You can only target by static fields like demographics and purchase history. Real-time segmentation customizes email on an individual basis, creating emails based on their present behavior and context, and email content that can really change in real time. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Mallory from Blue Hornet to share some considerations and concepts around contextual marketing that she works through with her clients to really create effective lifecycle messaging that's useful to customers and enhances the customer experience. Mallory, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Lalit. So the big question, how do you enable real-time segmentation? Today I'm going to take what we learned from Lalit and explain how you can begin assessing your own email program to begin utilizing trigger-based contextual marketing automation to create really effective lifecycle messages. So why would you want to begin utilizing these strategies to enhance your own email program? Well, because, as Lalit explained, enabling real-time segmentation allows for you to build trust with your customers, build that brand equity, and most importantly, enhances your customer experience, leaving them wanting to be on the lookout for your emails to hit their inbox. What brand wouldn't want that? I'm here today to walk you through this process and show you and prove to you how easy it is to set up real-time segmentation and ease of use by example. When working with clients that want to begin making these key changes to their email program, here are the steps that I take and the considerations that we'll walk through. To start off, if you're new to real-time content email, then let's not bite off more than you can chew. What is available today and at your fingertips? Well, you'll be happy to know that right out of the gate, there are 3 data points that are easily accessible and powered by Movable Ink. This includes location-based data, such as IP address, time of day event, morning, night, evening. There's also device type. We'll walk through examples of these items shortly, and knowing that these data points are available today can also get you to start brainstorming ideas on how you can begin incorporating this into your email program starting now. Also important to think about is what content will be valuable and useful to your customers and enrich their experience with their brand. Maybe it's in-store information, a sale or event countdown, possibly loyalty points available. Relevancy here is key in tailoring that email to your subscriber. Lastly, how finely do you want to take your segmentation? How granular do you want to be? Maybe it's country, region, state, or even city. Maybe it's by their membership status with your brand, or maybe it's other data points available within your ESP. All of these points boil down to your customer experience. So put yourself in the shoes of your target audience and see what they'd want to see from your brand and what they'd get the most out of from your email. On this note, what does contextual marketing really look like and feel like to your consumer? Let's take a look at a few good examples. So the first set of examples here is location-based campaigns. These are enabled by IP address, store ID, or store email address and radius. The example on the left here is from Steve Madden. This specific map example was included in a Black Friday email, showing Steve Madden subscribers a geo-targeted local map driving them to their nearest store to shop this Black Friday sale. This example is great because not only do they highlight the 3 closest stores to me, but they also provide a map helper text to the left. So if I don't want to shop one of those stores, I can easily go online to their store locator right from this email and find another store to shop, or even shop online if I choose to do so. On the right, you'll see a Starbucks example. The purpose of this email was to promote the new Starbucks app and also highlight customers to their nearest Starbucks, kind of showing that in-app experience right there in the email. I like this example for 2 reasons. It's visually appealing. You can easily see your local Starbucks. I also want to call out that this is the desktop version of the email. You can nail down to specific iPhone or Android device, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit later. So how do you set up these types of apps within your email? How do you include a map or other location information for your stores? This can be enabled by IP address, which again is powered by Movable Ink, really simple to set up, no data needed is available. Again, ease of use, something you could begin incorporating today. If available, you can also power this map based on data points you have available, such as subscriber zip code, state or region, for example. You can pass that data through to power that map. Maybe it's a store that your subscriber signed up in that they want to be tailored to and you want to draw them to. You can include that here. Also, another point to call out in terms of personalizing the map is you can choose the set radius. So maybe it's only the nearest store, the one nearest store that you want to draw them to. You can include a map of that store. In Steve Madden's example, they highlighted 3 local stores, and in the Starbucks example, you can see all of the Starbucks around you. So you have the variety available and the customization there. Also want to point out is next to the Steve Madden example, that text helper, that's really great real estate where you can put in-store information for their local store, include store events, include store hours, a lot of possibilities here. And again, it's personal and appeals to your subscriber and gets them to go to your store right from within the email and know that you're local and there to help them. The next example I want to take you through is real-time personalization. Again, something really simple. This is enabled by first name if you have it available within your ESP. This includes fun image treatment and creates brand stickiness. On the left is an example from Sephora, and this campaign was to get their subscribers excited about the upcoming holiday season and the gift ideas and gift sets that they had available. When I opened up this email and saw my name all pretty in pink and fun packaging for the holidays, it got me excited about the holidays just as they were. It enticed me to want to shop the gifts that they had, and it got me excited to want to see what else they were going to do to their emails during the holiday season to personalize them to me. So I really liked that. And the example on the right is the ever so popular Starbucks cup. In this email, Starbucks promoted an exclusive offer to members of their My Starbucks Rewards program. And this email included the recipient's name written on the Starbucks cup. And again, you open the email and you see your name on that cup just as you would in your experience by stopping by the Starbucks store. And it stands out to you. It appeals to you. And it's just fun and simple, but it creates that brand stickiness again, utilizing personalization in a fun, creative, and unexpected way. So this next example here, something that we spoke to in the Starbucks example up above, is a device-aware campaign. So being able to detect images in your email based on that device type. This could be handy for any of you out there that have different, specific content you want to display to different users based on their device type. In this email, Dice.com, which is a job site and app, they promoted downloads of their mobile app by using target images based on the recipient's mobile device. So iPhone users were directed to download the app on the App Store, while Android users were directed to Google Play. And all other users were delivered default content if they were on a desktop version, for example. I'd like to call out that this is a really seamless use case for your subscribers. When they're on their phone, they want that ease of use. They want to be directed when they click through your email directly to that App Store to download the app easily, or direct them straight to the Dice.com app for that seamless use on their phone. In terms of keeping the seamless transition, I also want to call out that you can utilize this, capability with your social links. So let's say you have Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook within your email. Right now, those icons, I'm assuming, are clicking through to a web page. But what's neat by utilizing real-time content is you can social deep link those links and link them straight to their app for that seamless experience and kind of what they're expecting from you. And again, really simple to incorporate. It's just updating a code within your email for those links and creates a great experience for the end user. This next example here is countdown timer campaigns. You can put date of an upcoming event, end of sale, create a visual for that subscriber to know exactly when that date is going to take place. So email to the left is Hallmark promoted this original movie Away and Back by including a video of their trailer, which is going to be below the countdown timer there. Again, visual, you open the email, you see that trailer, it gets you excited, along with a clock that counted down the days, hours, minutes, and seconds to the premiere. On the right here, we have an Alan Edmonds example, and this included a countdown timer to count down the final hours, minutes, and seconds to the end of an online and in-store sale. So the key thing here to call out when you have a countdown timer within your emails is once the timer ends, how can you still be relevant and ensure that this email will still mean something to your subscriber? Well, the great thing to know about real-time content is you can switch out the creative. So for example, in the Alan Edmonds email, maybe they post a, sorry we missed you, the sale is over, but click here to shop other sale items, or provide them other information since this email would be 00, the sale would be over. And I know Kat will be getting into the more specifics on that later on. So just something fun to think about, and again, really easy to incorporate. And the last example I want to share with you is this cause campaign powered by Movable Ink. It was a holiday e-card real-time campaign to raise money for Meals on Wheels. And every click to tweet there they donated $1 to charity. The latest tweets you'll see appear below that tweet icon, so you can see in real time people that are tweeting and participating in this campaign. Again, this is really personal. You open this email, it's impactful, and it makes you want to continue to go back to that email and watch this take place and participate yourself by clicking to tweet and helping to raise money for a great cause. Again, just something really fun that you can incorporate within your emails to really tailor that experience to your customers and create that great brand equity that I know we all want. So all in all, the sky is the limit when it comes to utilizing data. All of the data you have available to you can be used to power contextual marketing, enhancing your messages to make your emails more relevant and personal. With the good news being, it's not as difficult to enable and incorporate as it may seem. We love working with clients around adding real-time content to their own emails, and a great example of this would be one of our clients here at Blue Hornet, Kat from Allen Edmonds, who is here with us today to talk to us around how she utilizes real-time content to power Allen Edmonds emails, and will take us through our contextual marketing program, highlight some examples, and the success she has had. Kat, on to you.
Thanks, Mallory. And thanks for joining us today. I'm very excited to share with you some of our examples from Allen Edmonds. I'm going to go through each campaign in detail and share the strategy, the data used, and the results, and the learnings on some of these campaigns. But first, I want to introduce you to Allen Edmonds if you're not familiar with the brand. We've been around for almost 100 years, founded in 1922. Allen Edmonds is privately held and is a U.S.-based retailer of premium men's footwear. We also have apparel, leather goods, and other accessories. We focus on American manufacturing and partner up with other manufacturing companies throughout the U.S. to provide great quality products. We are located in Port Washington, Wisconsin, in the Midwest, and we've been handcrafting here since the beginning. So our shoes go through a 212-step process to create the quality and craftsmanship that you see. It's not machines doing the work, it is handcrafted. We have over 400 employees working on the lines, creating shoes daily. And let's go ahead and get into some of these examples then. So each campaign is going to be unique here, and this is kind of where we started testing the abilities with movable ink and our ESP Blue Hornet to really understand what kind of power contextual marketing and segmentation at this level can do for us. And in February, we get ready for March Madness with a special custom offer. And this shoe, we're allowing customers to go in and customize the color selection to be based on their favorite team. And so they have access to all the leathers that we currently have in stock to custom make the shoe. And what we want to do is showcase the ability to customize based on each team. So in the original plan, we were only going to have this great glamour image on the left side that talked about and showed 3 different shoe samples. But while we started thinking about how can we do a better job at targeting our different areas of the nation, we broke it out into 4 regions, and we featured 4 schools and their colors based on our leather selections to best fit those schools. And with that, we were leveraging the data of IP and making sure that we were displaying the right region information based off IP. And in result, we saw a very high read rate of over 15 seconds of this email for about 50% of our openers. So it was huge. The learning from this is that we only relied on IP. We have on our fingertips zip code. And this was one of our first campaigns, so there's always learnings. And we went ahead and focused on zip code for this next campaign. This one here launched February of this year, and it was around temperature sensitivity. As we still, in the Midwest and majority of our core customers in the Northeast, are still thinking snow, it's snowing, it snows till end of March usually. We're still thinking boots and rubber soles, wearing our sweaters and warmer clothing. A lot of times when we were just doing blast messaging, we would talk about boots to our whole audience, could be as late as end of March. Well, this is a great opportunity for us to use Movable Ink's feature and target the creative based on temperature. So in this scenario, the end of February, we sent out an email looking at temperature. So anyone under 40 degrees received the boot message with our over-the-shoe galoshes, and anyone above 41 degrees received a rainy type message showcasing our rain gear pieces. And here, based off of learnings of the last campaign, we made sure that we leveraged zip code first and IP second. And we saw a 300% click-through rate, increase click-through rate on this campaign. And Mallory mentioned default. In a lot of these campaigns, you're going to still need a default, because if you don't for some reason have a zip code on that customer and you're not able to identify a IP address, you still want to have a default message. So in this case, we just defaulted with our winner message. And going into the store locator, the examples that Mallory showed were great from Starbucks and Steve Madden. And here's an example on how we used it. So we've got 2 major sales throughout the year that span over 2 weeks. And it's really important for us to drive traffic in-store and online. And so we leverage the store locator feature in Movable Ink to try to drive more traffic to some of our outlet stores for our outlet customers. So here what we did is we built a pretty creative, using maps, the image of our store, showcasing the store address and location, along with a call to action to click through to see the store hours. And we leveraged the IP data and zip code with a radius of 25 miles to then show the top store. So it would display up to 2 stores, and if there wasn't a store available, it defaulted with the top image. Ignore the text there that says default, is the one right above, calling out our call center, allowing customers to call in and talk with our call center reps. This campaign here, very hard for us to measure in-store traffic, but I know based on click behavior that what we call the B message, the bottom of the store near you message area, received about 40% of all the clicks throughout this email. And I remember the call center calling me the next day asking, what did you do differently? Because the phones were ringing off the hook. So we knew it was successful. I'm actually going to go back here for 1 second and talk again about the store locator. So there's a lot of different ways you can present this. Here we have a map with a lot of information. One way that we're going to be leveraging it in the next coming weeks is literally just displaying the store name and location, and leveraging a feature that will show the store hours and phone number, and the phone number will only display while the store is open. So no map, make it nice, clean, and simple, but give them the relevant information, making it easier for mobile. Testing and optimizing on the fly. So as email marketers, we do A/B testing all the time. We test. Sometimes those results come inclusive, and we don't find anything worth changing, so we test again. Sometimes the results come back with alarming results. In this case, we were launching our apparel, and we had a lot of great imagery, and we really didn't know what our customer would like to see. We know with shoes, they like to see, in certain types of shoes, they like to see a full lineup of all the color selection, or if it's a really detailed shoe, like to see the close up. But what about apparel? So in this case, we ran an A/B test, option A and option B, A being a swatch of the fabric and really talking about the sale itself, and B talking smaller about the sale but showing more about the apparel. So on the model, the sweaters, the jackets, the shirts and ties, more variety. And what we found is just overall being able to test this and change this live brought in a increase of 114% click-through rate. So how this works is it's not your typical A/B test where you split your list 50-50 or whatever you might be doing. You put your A creative in, your B creative, and you hit send, and then you watch for the results later in the day. This is real time. So you put in your creative for A and B at a certain threshold, whichever one is the winner will update automatically for everyone who has opened or not opened the email. So as we know, a lot of times images get cached and you can't see after you've already opened the newest image. This will actually refresh. So someone who has already opened B message and A is the winner, A would then appear for them. It's pretty cool. Taking this to the next level with a multivariate test, I was really excited to see take A/B testing, then take that and do 4 different images, but now let's take it to the multivariant where we're doing 2 different elements, imagery and pricing. So we're always challenged, is pricing in their email helping or hurting us, and how much imagery should we actually show? And so in this case, we have 4 different creatives. We've got just the imagery of a single boot, our long branch, one of our most popular boots, and then a longer email showcasing 5 different boots that we had going on during that season. Then we had the price versus no price. We saw an increase of 86% click-through rate on the message that was no price and a single boot. And so the creative automatically updated for all of our subscribers to show just that creative. So now I'm going to walk you through a little bit more complex campaign that ran this February as well. And this is a fun one. So when you have shorter-lived sales, like a flash sale or a few days only type message, this is a really nice trick to keep your content fresh. So our campaign is that we're running for 4 days only, an additional 20% off clearance event. So clearance was already marked down, you get another 20% off of clearance items. We want to make sure that we created a sense of urgency. We sent the emails out daily to most of our subscribers, and we wanted to make sure that our customers were in the know on how much time was left to the sale. So here's our creative as we went through the days. So this first one was on Friday? Yes, Friday the 13th. And we had this special little calendar, and we circled the days as we went through. And all we did was just update the creative, change out the little handle at the top, giving it a little bit of a fresh look, and circling the new date. So Saturday, circled, crossed off Friday. Sunday, similar thing. And then Monday, the last day, we started with this creative, and we could see that the click activity wasn't as high as we wanted, so we quickly switched out to a more last day message on the fly. Because all this imagery is loaded in movable ink, you can set this all up to automatically deploy at certain times, or you can go in and quick change on the fly if needed. And that's what we did here in the last day. And then after the sale was complete, we still updated the information so that way the audience saw that the sale was over, but they could still shop clearance. So those who received all of these emails, if you were looking at Friday's email, on Monday, that creative changed to be last day creative. So no matter what email you saw those 4 days, it was always up to date for the customer. Now going into device awareness and video. This video and email, as we all know, has been very challenging for email marketing. And for many, many years, we've had to have a static image with a play button and trick the audience to click on that play and have them go to a landing page to watch the video. Well, as our brand continues to grow, there is a area where we need to start educating our customer about who we are and what kind of quality and craftsmanship you receive from Allen Edmonds. So we came up with a great video that we were going to use socially and in other channels, even in store on display screens, talking about the heritage of Allen Edmonds and the quality of work and the people that literally handcraft our shoes. And I said, well, why can't we use this in email? And I remember some people looking at me puzzled. And so we worked with Movable Ink to give an example of how video could work. And we uploaded this video in the Movable Ink platform. And on the right side, you can see there's 3 different other elements. So based on device, they will display what's appropriate for that device. So in this case, majority of our viewers, the video would autoplay muted, and then they could click the unmute and literally watch it in their email client, or they would have to click through a static image, and then a few different other pieces there. But we saw a 54% higher click-through rate on having this embedded within our email and allowing it to play versus just having a static image and clicking through to watch the video on YouTube. And this is a great piece that we tested to majority of our subscribers, and based on the results, we're going to add it to our welcome series. It might not go to a customer who is a repeat customer and finally joining our email list for the first time, but it would definitely go to someone who is just signing up for emails to understand our brand and learn more about us. So to wrap this up, from the examples that I had today, I want to showcase share with you some of the best practices from our contextual marketing program and really just get you started. So for us, it took us a few years to get started on contextual marketing. It started off with us going from batch and blast to smaller segmented static emails to then playing around with optimizing creative and then real-time segmentation through the Movable Ink tool. So start with the data you have now that Mallory shared. You've got zip code in your ESP. If you don't, you can leverage IP. So location is a huge piece. Device. And there's other areas of data that you can use that just takes a little bit of work. Ensure your data is updated. So all the campaigns I showed you today, you might end up reusing some of that data. Make sure that data is up to date. For an example, store locator. Since the last time we used a store locator, we've added 4 stores. I need to make sure that we've got the right data in Movable Ink to power that campaign in a couple days. And consider a default scenario. In some cases, you might not have a default. Going back to our store locator, in the example of the outlet, I have a call center that I want to call action to, so that was our default. In some cases, we might not want to call out our call center and we want that area to just collapse. So that's an option. And then lastly, real-time content can get complicated. So review your rules in creative each and every time and make sure that you understand what that customer will receive. So put yourself in the shoes of each targeted customer or segment. Test, test, test. Great example, our temperature campaign. I've sent out emails to some of our contacts at Movable Ink and Blue Hornet to make sure, hey, are you seeing the right thing in our test? Because you guys should be warmer in California and receiving the rain. And hey, Movable Ink, since you guys are in New York, you guys should be getting the boot. Are you receiving that? Yes. Okay, good. We're good to go. So test, test, test. And then track your results. So there's a lot of moving pieces when you have campaigns like this. So make sure you're tracking your results and documenting what's happening so that you can move forward and improve your program the next time you do contextual campaign.
Great. Thanks, Kat. And thanks for sharing the Alan Edmonds story. It's really great to hear directly how brands are using context to drive real results, and thanks for sharing those results with us today. One of the things that we pride ourselves on, and both Kat and Mallory can attest to this, is really our client experience team and how we work with brands to figure out how they're going to use this type of context and real-time segmentation to deliver a program like what Kat just talked through. So we really look at 4 key buckets or 4 key themes as we're going through this. One thing to note real quick too is that we are not the delivery mechanism. So in this case, Blue Hornet is delivering these messages on behalf of Alan Edmonds. What we are is a content layer that sits on top. And so within that, that's kind of where we can play and how we can make those emails definitely more engaging and more relevant. So as we look at these 4 key themes, it's really around personalization. How do we get down to each individual and create a true customer interaction using both first-party data, things like the zip code that you might have on file, even things like purchase activity, point balance, et cetera, passing that through and combining that with contextual data that we are determining in real time at the moment of open. The next piece is automation. So one of the things that we touched on briefly, I think, during this overall presentation is how do we help pull existing content into the email in order to deliver that personalized experience. So in some of the scenarios that Kat walked through, we're uploading static creative and really determining which scenario to show that static creative within. The other piece that we can do as well is pull in that information directly live from a website. So that could be your own website, that could be social media, but it's really pulling in that content in real time to make sure that email is very relevant. The next piece is optimization, and so Kat showed a number of great examples around optimization, but really being able to test a number of different factors in real time very easily and based upon different customer contexts is key. And the last piece is innovation, helping you really stand out in that crowded inbox. So driving things like urgency with the countdown timer, swapping those that creative over to something else that the recipient can take advantage of even after that sale is over. Making sure that you're always driving something that's unique and valuable to that customer to really help you stand out in that crowded environment. So those are the 4 key solutions that we tend to talk through and help customers go through that crawl, walk, run type of approach. And so it's great to hear the Alan Edmonds story, and thank you both for your time today to share some of your insights with us. I think with that, I'll pass it back over to Emily to wrap us up.
Awesome. Thank you, Lily. So we have a lot of questions coming through regarding the strategy and implementation of contextual marketing. So to get started, we'll start with the first question. You showed some great examples of contextual marketing campaigns, but for someone who has yet to implement real-time emails, how do you recommend getting started from a strategy perspective and then from an implementation standpoint?
Yeah, so really it's starting off extremely small. Find some campaign that you feel that you can spend a little time on and prepare to do something new and creative and just test. So as I mentioned, our program has been growing tremendously, our email program. Since I came on board about 3 years ago, it was a blast and blast program. We really just sent the same message to every single subscriber. And then we slowly started integrating. So I would say we weren't doing real-time segmentation until we started testing it a little bit last year. And we're taking it into a little bit more of a required piece with, I would say, a handful of our campaigns every single month this year. So it's slowly growing that program, testing it, see how it impacts. One of the things that I use to measure results, not only just looking at each campaign separately, but overall is looking at engagement on your subscriber base over time. So as our list continues to grow, seeing that our engagement rate continues to either stay stable or grow means that we're doing something right.
Awesome. And we're getting some questions here about the retail examples we showed. Do you guys have any examples for non-retail brands and how they've leveraged similar programs?
Yeah, this is Lalit. We have some fantastic examples really across any sort of industry vertical. I think as both Kat and Mallory talked about kind of the high-level concepts, really any time where you want to drive a relevant message to a customer, that's really where you should use context. And so it's a very broad answer, but it really is that. It's something where you can find different use cases across different industries, and we work with folks across financial services, retail, travel, nonprofit, et cetera. We've got there's a great Pinterest page out there that shows a number of different examples as well. So we can send that out as a follow-up, but it's pinterest.com/movableink. And we've got a number of great examples across different industry verticals. And like I said, it's really one of the things we pride ourselves on is our account team, our client experience team, and the expertise that they have across those different verticals and helping you figure out what the best use cases might be for your brand and how to test in.
Awesome. Thanks, Ali. And just to follow up on that, we're getting a question as well about B2B campaigns and leveraging the same kind of strategies. Do you have any examples of contextual marketing strategies or examples from a B2B perspective, since we talked mostly about B2C today?
We do. And so, again, we can definitely take that through. It depends on what sort of business goal you have in terms of the email marketing campaigns that you're sending out. We work with B2B companies on things like event strategy, testing and optimization using the creative optimization aspect that Kat talked us through. So there are a number of different use cases, both on the B2C